Hello students, welcome back to yet another session of this life processes. The previous session we saw about the transportation in animals, that is the human circulatory system. Now in this particular session we are going to look at the other topic, that is excretion. Why excretion is important, what happens in this process of excretion, that all will be understood in this particular session. To understand what are the subtopics here in this particular session, let's look at the subtopics. The first one, what exactly is excretion? Why this becomes a very important part in our life processes. The second one, what are the different organs of excretion in lower organisms? How they undergo the process of excretion. The third one will be what are the different parts of human excretory system. We will try to understand what exactly are present in this particular system. And the fourth one will be what is the structural and the functional unit, that is a nephron. So these four subtopics will be covered in this particular session. Now coming to the first one, that is the various excretory organs which we see in the lower organisms. The basic thing about excretion is whatever the excretory organs are, most of the organs will excrete in the form of nitrogenous waste. It might be various types of nitrogen based compounds, but the lower organisms are not so complex as compared to the higher organisms. So they have very small organs which help in the process of excretion. So coming with the first, that is the protozoans. In protozoa, it is the contractile vacuole which does both the osmoregulation as well as the excretion. Poriferans, generally through the mouth or the osculum and general body surface, they do not have any different kind of organs as such. Now coming to the coelenterata, its mouth and general body surface. And in platyhelminthes, we have special cells which are called as flame cells or the protonephridia. Now they are the excretory organs, and from here we will see that nephridia comes into the picture. Now Nemathelminthes, the rennet cells seen in the case of roundworms, and in Annelida it becomes more advanced with the nephridia coming into the picture for this particular excretion. The next few organs. In Arthropoda, it is the Malpighian tubules, and Arthropoda is a phylum where you find many different kinds of excretory organs. Now, in the case of Malpighian tubules, it is for the insects. The coxal glands are seen in the case of spiders. The green or the antennary or the maxillary glands will be seen in prawns and shrimps, that is the crustaceans. And in mollusca, you have the metanephridia, and when echinodermates are present, you can see that it is written here, there is no special excretory organs. So in echinodermates, the excretory organs as such are absent. Now in chordates, most of them excrete with the help of kidneys, and they are generally metanephric kidneys. Now this is all about the different organs, various types of excretory organs present in the organisms. Now coming to the next one, the excretory products. Just like you have various excretory organs, excretory products also differ from organism to organism. So let's see what are the different excretory products in this one. So we have three different types of organisms. The one which excrete urea, it can be excreted in the form of any nitrogenous waste. So we have here urea first, then uric acid and ammonia. Urea is generally seen in higher chordates. So example will be mammals, where they have this water retention capacity. They can actually take in water and also can give out water. So those kind of organisms can excrete in the form of urea. And Annelida, earthworms, also excrete this urea product. Now uric acid will be an excretory waste when they want to conserve water. They don't want to give out the water which is present in the body. Now uric acid you can see in the case of arthropods. You can see in the case of camels, and most of the birds are uric acid. Now ammonia In the aquatic organisms, fishes excrete in the form of ammonia. And why there is so much variation between all the three? Urea can be done when there is plenty of water available for that particular organism. It can take in water, also give out water in the form of various substances like sweat, water going on in the mammals. Now uric acid is to conserve water. So they do not want to give out water because their body will not have the tendency to take as much as water as possible. So uric acid, arthropods, camels and birds. And what is this with the ammonia? Why organisms give out ammonia as an excretory product? In aquatic organisms, ammonia will be the basic substance because ammonia is easily dissolvable in water. It can dissolve completely in water, and ammonia in terrestrial organisms is generally toxic to the body. So we cannot keep ammonia in our body and then use it as an excretory waste. So what happens in water is the toxicity levels come down as soon as it mixes with water, and it can easily mix with water. So that's why most of the aquatic organisms can give out in the form of ammonia. Now that is only for the water living organisms. And now, so let's take up the terms we come to deal with when an organism excretes in the form of urea. It is called the ureotelic animal. When uric acid, it is uricotelic organism. And the third one, we call it as the ammonotelic organism. Now, all these three types are found. Apart from that, we have other excretory substances also, which are not very common. We also have guanine. So, one of the substances which are also used as products of excretion. Now, these are all the different types of excretion in different organisms. Based on that, they are all divided. Now, coming to the next one, the excretory system in humans. Before we get into the parts of the excretory system, let's try to understand that this particular excretion is only to remove most of the nitrogenous waste, and apart from that we remove the excess of salts from the body, because excess salts are also bad for life. So salts are removed, unwanted other substances like extra proteins are removed. Most of the substances which are not required by the body is all done through this particular process. But in general, excretory system is basically for removal of maximum nitrogenous waste which are not required to the body, because more of toxicity will be coming in when you have more of nitrogenous compounds in the body. Now, how does a human excretory system do that? Now, we all know excretion has to happen, and for that we have a pair of kidneys here. The entire excretory system, you can divide them into a pair of kidneys. You can see there is a left kidney and a right kidney, and you have two ureters, the tubes which come from this particular kidney. Then you have a place where the excretory product, that is urine, is stored in the urinary bladder and it is ejected out by means of urethra. Now these are the different parts of the excretory system in common. Now let's look at the size of the kidneys now. The kidneys, you can see they are in two different positions. You can see in the diagram, the one which is on to the left side is little higher than the right side. Now why does this happen? Because the right kidney is little lower, because the liver comes into the right side. So the position of the right kidney is little lower than that of the left kidney. Now that's why you have a difference in the place where they have kept. Now apart from that, we all have a spinal cord which is bent at the backbone level, that is at the hip region. Now because of that also, the kidneys have been placed at a little, the right one is kept at a little lower position. The position varies here. And as you can see, the kidneys are reddish brown organs. They are in the shape of a bean. So bean-shaped structures, that is what you can see it from here. Now from there you have two tubes which are coming out, the ureters, which carry the excretory products to get stored in this urinary bladder. Now what happens in the kidney? Now kidney is made up of several units, commonly what we call as a nephron. A nephron, each one is like a basic unit of a kidney. You have millions of them in both the kidneys. So what they do is they filter the blood, and from the blood they receive all the waste so that they can be given out through the process. So this process we will be taking up in the next session. Now these are the parts we have to look. So the kidneys, then you have the ureters, then you have the urinary bladder and the urethra. Now coming to the next one. This is the structure of a nephron we are talking about. That is the basic unit of kidneys. Just like we said, the basic unit of a nervous system is a neuron. Similar to that, we are seeing here is a nephron. Now, what are the different parts of a nephron? Nephron is basically divided into all these parts. The first part we'll be talking about is the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus. Now this Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus put together, we call it as a Malpighian body. So we can give the term a Malpighian body, or we can also say Malpighian corpuscle. Now what is the function of the Bowman's capsule and this glomerulus? Most of the process where the filtering has to occur happens in this particular glomerulus. Now glomerulus is a mass of capillaries which will help in that process of filtration, and Bowman's capsule is lining this glomerulus. Now this Bowman's capsule is a cup-shaped structure which takes in the filtrates after filtration, and then it gives to this particular part which is the uriniferous tubules. Now this Bowman's capsule continues as this particular tubule, you can see it. Now this tubule is divided into three different parts. The proximal convoluted tubule, or otherwise called as the PCT. Then you have here the loop of Henle, that's the second part. And the third part will be the distal convoluted tubule, which is given as DCT. Now this proximal convoluted tubule will meet the loop of Henle, and loop of Henle again is divided into the descending limb and the ascending limb. So various products are taken in, absorbed, reabsorbed and given out at every junction of this uriniferous tubule. Now finally, after the distal convoluted tubule finishes the process of excretion, the urine will be collected through the collecting ducts. Now these collecting ducts will be opening at the junction of the kidney. So you can see the junction here. All the tubules, collecting ducts will be getting into this particular place where they filter out through the ureters. Now that's the place for the distal convoluted tubules. Now coming to the collecting ducts, and you can see one more tubule here which is called as the vasa recta. Now this vasa recta is very important in this osmoregulation because the amount of salts and water which is taken out as a filtrate depends upon how much water and how much salts are present inside the tubules. Now this vasa recta gives a counter current mechanism, that is, if the body is deprived of salts, it will reabsorb the salts necessary for that particular process. If the water content is more, then the excess water will be given out and the vasa recta helps it. So it's a counter current mechanism to maintain that osmoregulation as well as the amount of salt and water present in that particular body. Now how this process occurs, we will have a look in the next session. So right now, these are the parts of a nephron, and together this is divided into the capsule as well as the uriniferous tubule, where it is divided into a PCT, Henle's loop and the DCT, all collected at the junction of the collecting ducts. Now these are the general parts of a nephron. What they excrete, how the process occurs, all that we will be taking up in the next session. So to understand few sessions, to this session we have few questions. So what is osmoregulation? What is its significance? The first one, osmoregulation is a process where the excess of salts are removed or salts can be absorbed if there is necessity. So to maintain that balance of water and salts in the body. Now why is it important? Because excess of salts or excess of water both are harmful. At the same time, if the body has less amount of salts, even that is harmful. Now what is a Malpighian body? Malpighian body is a combination of the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus. Together we give the name as Malpighian body. Third one, what are the different products of excretion? We have seen the products. They are urea, uric acid, and the third one will be ammonia. So that's all with the session for today. So we will be having a look in the next session about how the process of excretion happens, and we'll also know what happens in plants, that is the excretion in plants, and if there is a problem with the kidney, how we can settle with that, having an artificial kidney and hemodialysis. All that will be understood in the coming session. So that's all for today. We'll all meet you in the next session. Thank you.